days, I was staying at a hotel, and I ate anything that was slow enough to get a fork in it. And Voltaire has a line that says, God is a comedian playing to an audience that's afraid to laugh. So I wake up in the morning feeling bad enough about myself, because I didn't like the fact that I engaged in my habit, but then I look in the mirror and there's a zit on my nose the size of San Diego. So my back hurts. And I decide there's only going to be one thing that's going to help me. I need coffee. And down to the lobby I go to get coffee, because I remember there was a little coffee kiosk in the lobby. And as the elevator doors open, there's a mirror in front of the elevator doors. And as I look in the mirror, I'm horrified, because right here is a big stain in the center of my pants. Somehow the food I had eaten had gotten on my pants. And I go, oh my God, I can't do, what am I going to do? And I think to myself, I got to do something. I can't go walking around like this. And as I'm walking through the lobby of the hotel, there's like a restaurant in the hotel. You've been in those hotels where there's like a restaurant right down to the ground floor. And I see they have these beautiful gold napkins. So I grab a gold napkin and I tuck it into my pants so it's kind of hanging out like a loincloth. Go back and I look in the mirror and I go, no, it's not going to work. I feel like an urban warrior from the Food Network. So I take the towel and the napkin and I go running into the bathroom and I think, okay, well, I can wash it. Well, you know where this is going. Go over to the sink, wet the napkin, rub it all around here, look in the mirror and go, oh my God, that's worse. Now what am I going to do? I take the hot air dryer, which thank God is one of those that turn the hot air dryer and I'm kind of blowing it on my, don't do that. Not only does it not dry, it hurts. I finally resigned myself to the fact that this is my day, and I head out to the kiosk, covering my zit and covering the stain. I walk up to the counter where this beautiful, young, 23-year-old Aphrodite is behind the counter. She's got big hoop earrings, brown tan, flat belly. In her eyes, you can see her soul. She's strikingly gorgeous. Now I'm really nervous. I go, I need a cup of coffee. She says, what size cup of coffee would you like? I go, what size do you have? And she goes, well, if you look on the board behind, we have medium, large, and extra large. I'm cranky. I go, I don't mean to be rude, but you can't have medium, large, and extra large. Medium, by its very definition, implies between two things. You're trying to lie to me, and I can see that it's really a small. You can call it a medium all you want. It's not a medium, it's a small. She goes, sir, I don't name these things, I just sell them. What size would you like? And I realize I'm being a jerk. And I go, I'm sorry, I'm really, just give me the medium. And she says, the medium that we call a large? I go, just give me the smallest size you've got. She pours the cup of coffee, and as she turns around and she faces me and our eyes connect, and she says, you've got great hair. I got to respond to that. I go, I shampooed it. I don't know what to say. But I'm a 57-year-old guy with a zit on my nose the size of San Diego, a stain in the center of my pants, and a bad back talking to a 23-year-old absolutely stunningly beautiful woman. The only thing can be is she wants me. That's the thought that's going through my mind. And as you might have heard from somebody else, it's been said before, but every guy, whenever he's changing clothes and you're not around and he's standing in front of the mirror in his skivvies and the ladies aren't there, he's sucking in his stomach and he's going, Bond, James Bond. I'm having a fantasy like you can't imagine, and she gives me the coffee, and I say thank you, and you know what? My day changed like that. You want to know why it changed? The compliment didn't hurt. It changed because I said thank you. You can't be grateful, you can't feel good until you give thanks, especially when it doesn't feel like there's something to be thankful for. Thank whatever you can. The problem is what we say to ourselves. I was walking into a restaurant, wow, big surprise, following a young mom. We're walking up a ramp, and the definition of young seems to age. She could have been 50 as far as I remember. But we're walking up the restaurant. I'm following this young mom, and she has 2 daughters on either side of her. At least I think there's 2 daughters. On one side, there's a beautiful young girl. This is one of my favorite stories. I've got it in one of my books. I wrote about it because it so impressed me. We're walking up the ramp, and she's a beautiful young girl wearing like ballerina clothes, like a leotard and a skirt, and she's got long curly blonde hair, and she's just kind of flowing up the ramp. And the little girl on the other side, at least I think there's a little girl. I can't be sure, because all I can see is a backpack with a purple pony on it, and little splashing shoes underneath, and a spout of hair sticking up over the top. And as the 3 of them are walking up the ramp, the little one on the right side loses her footing, and she falls down and she hits the ground, and she bounces up, kind of like Tigger, if you remember Tigger, So she hits the ground and she bounces back up again, and I think she's as surprised as anybody, and she turns to her mom, and her mom turns to her and says, "Jessie, wow, you okay? That was amazing. When you lost my grip and you fell down, I thought you might get hurt. I would have taken care of you, but I'm so glad you didn't. You have amazing reflexes. Do you know how fast you are? Do you know how proud I am of you? Just got down, you got back up, you kept going. Nothing gets in your way, Jessie. You're an amazing little girl." And she kind of gave her a hug, and she turned to her daughter on the other side, and she said, "Sarah, did you see what what your sister did? Wasn't that amazing how quickly she got down and got up, like you with your ballet? And how gracefully you flow? And what an amazing dancer you are. And Jessie, what an amazing little girl you are." She put her arms around her 2 daughters, and she walked up the ramp into the restaurant, and I heard her say, "Tonight's dinner is a celebration of my 2 amazing girls." I wanted to hug that mother. It seemed inappropriate, so I didn't. But my question for you is, do you know what Jessie's going to do when Jessie grows up? Because I'm going to tell you, anything she darn well wants. Because from the time she was this big, somebody has said to her, not "you can't do it," not "you're stupid," not "you're doomed to failure," "you are amazing." What would it feel like if you walked into a room periodically and people said to you, "You are amazing"? How would it feel if your coworkers, if your friends greeted you with "You are amazing"? What would it be like if your life partner or your spouse said, "You are amazing"? And dare I say it, if you looked in the mirror once in a while and that person said, "You are amazing." When somebody calls you amazing, you do amazing things, and I want to prove it to you. I've only got a few minutes, so we need to be quick, but I want you to do this because I think you'll enjoy it. I want you to turn to somebody right next to you, and with enthusiasm and energy, I want you to say, "You are amazing." And then turn to somebody else and say, "You are amazing." And "You are amazing." You are amazing.
It was all amazing. It just, all the laughter, just everybody participated, and he was really very inspiring.
And periodically, it feels like a third world goat trail, and all you have is a machete. It's all the same road. We never go off. We get sloppy, we get careful, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it isn't, but it's all the same path. And I think the problem is the way we look at it. See, I call myself a recovering perfectionist because I think perfectionism is kind of a blight on our society, and let me tell you why. People mistake that. They think I'm saying lower your standards. I'm not saying lower your standards. I'm saying exceed what you thought you could do. And let me show you why. I'm going to see if there's any perfectionists in this room. I have a simple quiz for you, okay? Now, if you have ever had one of those days where you have woke up in the morning and you've taken a look at your schedule and you got maybe like a patch of blue sky in there, you don't have an appointment, you don't have things you got to do, you're like all excited about it. I got 3 hours, I got nothing I have to do. And if you're like me, you get kind of an adrenaline buzz and you go, "Oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to get so much done by the end of the day. I'm going to be so productive. It's going to feel great. I'm going to get it all accomplished." And the most productive thing you do by the end of the day is update your Facebook profile. If you can relate to that, raise your hand and say, "I can relate." Give you a couple of more. Lately, the world seems kind of like a dreary place to me. I'm just being honest. It seems like everybody's at odds with each other, and the economy doesn't seem like it's doing as well as it could be, and people are cranky and they're grumpy, and our attitudes are kind of sliding. And I don't want to say it's worse for me, because it's not, but can you imagine trying to be a motivational speaker with a bad attitude?